Welcome back to the third little installment of our shooter game tutorial. This one is going to be quite simple and fairly short. It's going to be about getting the hero to look better when the hero is shooting, because right now what we've got when we play is the shots kind of come out of the middle, as you see, and we can make this better. So let's have a quick look. First thing I'm going to do is go to my hero, and my hero, if I come over to costumes, you can see he has two costumes. And these costumes are opening and closing the claws. So I can put a little code in there that makes it look like every time he shoots, he opens and closes his claws. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to come back to code. And I'm going to put in some code parallel to this code here. So I'm going to go to events, which is when I receive start. We're going to go to control. We're going to bring in another forever loop. And this is going to deal with the space bar as well. So every time that we shoot, we want those to open and close. And we're using our space bar as our shoot, as we learned from the last tutorial. So we'll bring in an if and drop it right in here. We'll go to sensing. If key space is pressed, this is going to be really, really quite simple. We're going to have it go to next costume. So we're going to go to looks. And I'm going to throw in the next costume. Now what I'm going to do here immediately is not going to be perfect, because actually what we're going to do is going to end up being a little too fast. You can see that if I run that code, he just moves his claws open and close so fast it doesn't make any sense. Now, something that we're going to borrow is timing from another part of the game. So if we go to the hero shot, we'll notice that we have a delay or a wait block of 0.2 seconds. So we're going to use that wait block of 0.2 seconds from there, and we're going to use that in much the same manner here to slow down the claws here. So I'm going to go to control. I'm going to bring in a wait, which is right up at the top here. And I'm going to throw it right down in here, right below the if statement, but still inside for the ever. And I'm going to make the forever, and so I'm going to make it the 0.2 seconds, exactly the same timing as the other. So now he opens and closes the same timing as the shots. So that's going to give just a little extra bit in the gameplay and in the visual. Now, if you have a sprite where you want to just shoot out of a single spot, that's no problem. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then I'm going to make it a little more complicated with mine. I'm actually going to have it so it shoots out of both claws, alternating out of both claws. So that's our next little bit. We're actually going to build that on the hero shot, not on the hero itself. And it's all going to have to do with the positioning. Now, currently, my shot comes out of the middle of this guy, and it's kind of goofy that it comes out of the middle of his body. I want to actually just kind of come out a little above his body. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to play with this go to X position of hero, Y position of hero. And my X position right now is fine. It's in the middle. It's the Y position where I want this shot to be a little bit closer to the top of the screen. So how I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to throw a little mathematical formula into here. So I'm just going to pull out the Y position of the hero, and it's going to go back in a second. I'm going to go to the mathematical operators, and I'm going to bring in the plus sign. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in that first little half. So every time a clone starts, it's going to go to the X position of the hero, so where it is, left and right. And it's going to go to the Y position of the hero. Plus, I'm going to add about 25 pixels. So wherever the Y position is, plus 20 pixels. So plus 20 pixels is going to move it up. So now when I do this and start my clone, you'll notice that they no longer start in the middle of his body, start above his body. And that's all fine and dandy. That works great for us. Not only does it work great for us, if you have a object where you want, or a hero where you want to shoot out of one spot, that's all you need to do for this. The next bit is I'm going to show you how you can adjust it left and right. And I'm also going to adjust mine to shoot out of two different parts of my hero. So if you just have it shooting out of one spot and you want it to shoot out of the middle, that's fine. If I want it to get it to move left and right a bit, we're just going to do exactly the same thing over here, plus or minus, on the X position. And for me, I'm going to show you how I'm going to get it to move over to one of the two claws. So I'm going to bring over that same plus sign. And I'm going to remove the X position. That's moving too much. I want to remove this X position out. I'm going to put it in here. Bring that back inside. And then if I move the X position plus 25, no, not 250, plus 25, when it starts as a clone, it's now coming out of one of the claws. And 25 might be a little bit far. I can bring it back to about 23 if I think 23 is going to work better. Yeah, 23 looks a little bit better. So now it comes out of one of the claws. Okay, what if I want it to come out of the left or the right? Maybe I want it to do that at random. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a random number generator for this. If you're happy positioning it just here, that's it for this tutorial for you. If you want to have your shot come out at two different places, the next little bit of the tutorial is where it's at for you. So it's a little more complicated. It involves a random number, or we could do it alternating, and we could guarantee alternating with a counter. But I think I'll do a random alternating just so you can see how you can do that. So I'm just going to pull this down a bit. And I am going to make over here, I'm going to come to variables, and I'm going to make a new variable, and I'm going to call that variable random, or pick random. And once I got that variable pick random made, I'm just going to go OK. And then I am going to go, I'm going to go bring in this set my variable. I'm going to set that my variable to pick random. And we're not going to set it to 0. We're going to set it to a random number. Pick random number between 1 and 2. So that's all it's going to do. It's only got two numbers to choose from. Why am I choosing two numbers? Because one of those numbers will represent the left side, the left claw. The other number will represent the right claw. It doesn't matter which is which, just that we've only got two positions that we're going to want to shoot from, and therefore we're only going to give two numbers. Great. Now that that's in, I need to pull in an if statement. So we've got an if statement in place. And then we're going to bring in a quick mathematical thing. And once I got this built, I'll explain to you exactly what we're going to be doing. I need an equal sign in here. And then I'll bring in my variable. If pick random equals 1. Ooh, I actually brought in a wrong piece of code. It's not an if then I want. It is an if then else is what I want. So it's going to give me two particular different things. So if pick random equals 1, then we're going to shoot out of this right hand side. So number 1 is going to equal the right hand side. I'm going to duplicate this. And the only thing I'm going to do is on the x-axis is go minus 23. So from the main position of the x position, minus 23 is over here. So if the pick random equals 1, then it will shoot from this side. If it does not equal 1, else it will shoot from the other side. So it's either going to equal 1 or 2. So if it equals 1, it's shooting from this side. If it equals 2, it will shoot from that side. And then we'll just take the rest of this and tuck it right up underneath. And hopefully now it will randomly shoot from the left and right side of my arrow. That's how we get it to randomly shoot. If I wanted to have it alternate each time, I could do it a little bit differently with a counter, with a little bit more code and a little bit resetting of the counter. But this here is just a nice little random code, left or right. So we'll get some shots out of the left side of the sky, some shots out of the right side of the sky, and they will follow all the way up to the top of the screen. Now you'll also notice that I'm getting a burger kind of tucked at the top of the screen. I'm going to figure out, I know how to fix that. I just want to figure out if it's happening each time I play this game. Is one always getting stuck up there? Or is it only getting stuck when I change code? It doesn't look like anything's getting stuck. Now what you'll also notice is you see this pick random variable up at the top of the screen. This pick random variable we do not need to see. It's just there to show us our mathematical calculation when we get started. So if we come over to the variables and we just take the check mark off of that, that'll remove that. That's the end of this little video. Our next little video, we'll bring our enemies into the game. We'll get our enemies moving. And then eventually we'll build one where our enemies are contacting with our hero shot and contacting with our enemy.